Hello, this is Gavin, and I was just going to do a quick update, but maybe you could speed this up to a 2x if you want it to be real quick, because I do talk slowly. So, I am planning to have a conversation um, with Karen Wong, and I mentioned two words that sounded interesting to her, which were praxeology and perspectivism. And so I started doing my thinking, which includes writing or note taking. And I I quickly realized that praxeology is the like one of the first things I realized is that praxeology is basically the study of everything. So technically, it's the study of action, but we are humans, and if we're alive, then we are acting. And every experience we have, when you combine it with perspectivism, you realize that every experience we have shapes our perspective, and our perspective shape our actions. So, yeah, it's a broad topic. But so I went around and started collecting collecting more words, I should say. And I was telling my wife about it. Actually, just as an overview, I spent 4.5 hours researching this morning, and I enjoyed it. But it was mostly just collecting words, collecting the vocabulary, and defining the words. Basically, reading definitions and then choosing a definition that is useful for me, and my goals. And that's I had two questions that came up. That's it. The first question was, is the question productive? No. How useful is it? That's the first question. How useful is it? And the second question was, is the question productive? And I wanted one of the titles for this work, it's a draft, that I arrived at is called The Engineer, because, I mean, that's what I am. And, we probably have this elephant, and the thing that's talking to you is an elephant rider that attempts to justify what the elephant does. And I've been doing it for years, this engineering thing. I've been trying to do it as good as I can and have the best impact possible as the engineer. So, the study of praxeology, along with this kind of belief or worldview related to perspectivism, or the practice of appreciating different points of view. This kind of is it stems from the engineer or the ideal engineer. I seek to be the ideal engineer, and two of the words that came out was praxeology, the study of actions, and perspectivism. And then from that praxeology, I have 15 or 20 more words for the different areas of study, which I read about and thought about and defined. And so that's what I'm doing. And my wife's response was, "Oh no, I don't know if we have time for that. The study of everything." But one of the things that stood out as a coincidence, right? Because I am open to the possibility of, you know, mystical, magical experiences. I talked to Jason Delport, like I usually do every Friday morning. I talked to him yesterday, and the concept of self-destructive beliefs was brought up. And I talked to Jason for like 3.5 hours yesterday. It was our longest conversation yet. But that there are people who they from their point of view, things aren't looking very good, and it's so different than my view. And so people can become trapped by a belief, and it leads to certain kinds of behaviors and restricts other kinds of behaviors. Like you may not want to have children because you believe we're in this world that is not good for whatever reason. And you believe that bringing children into this world would not be good. You believe that for whatever reason. And so there are these self-destructive beliefs that people have. And I think, we're all subject to them. And I was really thinking about this because of this idea of sin. I've always defined sin as ignorance. We were born into this. What is the thing that all humans have whenever we're born into this world? And it is ignorance, totally dependent on others. And there's a, there is a belief that you could consider is that are we all perfect, right? Like, are we part of this piece of art that is happening and playing out and will inevitably result in this perfect thing because there is a perfect creator and therefore every moment is perfect. Like that is a belief, and it could have, well, every belief has costs and benefits or trade-offs, and each individual has experiences and a different perspective at every moment. So this belief could be dangerous for some people. But the opposite of this belief, that we are all somehow broken and we are imperfect, could also be dangerous for some people. And there could be some things where there are some good things about it, and there are about the belief, and there could be things where there are bad things about the belief. There's just costs and benefits. There's trade-offs. And so that whether or not the belief is true, that it relates to something out there in reality, is less important from an engineer and an engineering perspective and someone who cares about praxeology and the study of actions. Right? That's the trueness of the belief is related to how it causes you to behave and feel. So I came across, I shared a tweet at John Vervaeke regarding the meaning crisis, and I think that's connected. And I just mentioned how this crisis, or that where people believe we're in this bad situation, that I accept that people report their perception, their perspective, their point of view that we are in this crisis. I say that's true. I accept that people report this, but it's not for me, right? And it's because I've been very careful about the beliefs that I have. I have practiced seeking to understand where my feelings come from and discovering the beliefs and even the belief in or the acceptance of a meaning of a word and the acceptance of a collection of words into sentences and ultimately into worldviews, beliefs. You know, those are what's responsible for the feelings and the emotions. And so as an engineer, I have attempted to engineer my beliefs such that my feelings and my behaviors are changed into an alignment with my goals. And I think the best goal is peace on earth. So it's all engineering. And so I hopped into the sorting myself out Discord server, and there's a guy named Daniel, and he shares pretty good stuff related to therapy. Therapy is an attempt to change your mind in order to change your behaviors and your feelings. And he pointed at the quote that says the map is not the territory. Albert Ellis. I'm not good with names, but I'm better with the ideas, and because this is an important idea. And he is also like the founder of Rational Emotive Behavioral Therapy. And turns out this guy came up with a model for doing what I've just been talking about, changing, basically engineering our beliefs or engineering our feelings and our behaviors via engineering our beliefs. And I think lots of people have, throughout history, have figured out this trick, this very useful trick, this hack. That word hack sometimes is derogatory. It's not for me, but it is for some people. But check out Rational Emotive Behavioral Therapy and the ABCDEF model. So, yeah, just checking in, just sharing where I'm at, sharing my status. That's it. I'm not going to talk anymore.